Hey guys, welcome back to Midwest Woods and Water. I just kind of wanted to recap my week of hunting. I hunted 3 times last week. The first sit, I'll show you here on onX what I was doing and what happened. So I was sitting right here. There's a river that comes through here, and this is a big cornfield right here. So I accessed along this edge here, and I had a wind out of the northeast, and so I sat right here. I have a real heavy trail that comes out of the corn, and I wanted to sit just on the kind of south side of that because my wind was going to blow back into the field this way, and I was thinking that the deer were going to come and they were going to cross the river here up and then into the cornfield. So I was sitting there for quite a while, and all of a sudden I had a deer pop out right over here. There's a whole bunch of bedding here. I didn't really know it was there. My bow was next to me. I didn't get a chance to grab my bow. He'd have definitely seen me if I moved to grab that, but he was only 10 yards. He's a nice buck. I've seen him on camera a couple times. I'd like to see him again, but I didn't get a shot on him. I'd love to. So the next time I was down here, and my thought was I was going to catch this deer on his way back to bedding in the morning after he's been feeding. So there's some beans and stuff down here that's still green, and I figured he was going to come back and he was going to come up through here and hit this. What I didn't think about was the wind direction had changed. So it was a southwest wind now blowing out this way. And what happened was, while I was sitting here, I spotted some bucks over here across the river again. So now they've switched on me. They're on the other side of the river. Wind switch as well. He was too far. It was a different buck this time. He was too far. He was out of range. And there was way too much between me and him, a lot of trees and everything else. So I came up with another idea to switch back over to the other side of the river where I was the first time. So same thing, I come out, I access from here. I got a same wind out of the southwest. I access over here, and I come in along here, and I get back in here, and I get in a tree right where I saw that buck taking a drink from the river. So I sat there all morning. I think I only had a small buck and a couple does come by. I didn't see the big one, but that doesn't mean they're not there. I ended up moving my trail cam. I had a trail cam up here by my first sit. I moved it down here onto a real heavy trail that I had seen there, and I left it there, and I started getting pictures and videos that night of a couple pretty big bucks coming through there. So we're going to stick with it. We're going to keep grinding. We'll get these things figured out eventually and hopefully catch up with them. I got one who's pretty consistently going and hitting some of these beans every evening. He's there at like 5:30 every evening, going out to the beans and eating. So I might try and wait till I get a maybe northwest wind and I can sit out there and not blow my scent all over the place out there. So we're supposed to have a cold front come through this week. I think by midweek temperatures are going to drop. Like right now, I think they're in the 60s and maybe low 70s right now, but it's going to drop down into the 50s and 40s later this week. I'd like to get out there right when that happens, but I'll probably be stuck at work. I don't know if I can get away from work, so I might have to wait till the weekend, but it's supposed to be cool this weekend, so we're going to give it another try and see if we can catch up to one of these things. So I talked a little bit about the bucks switching on the river, which side of the river they're on. And what they're doing is, so the first time I was sitting here, and he was over here on the east side of the river, wind was coming out of the east. So why he was doing that is he's sitting over there because he could smell everything coming from the field over here, and then he could see and hear everything coming from the west side. I didn't think about it when I came over here and sat. The wind was out of the southwest, blowing towards the northeast. Same thing. He was sitting over here. He can smell everything coming from the field, and then he can see and hear everything coming from the other side across the river. So that's why, like, when I went back out there the third time, I thought, I'm going to be on the same side as him. They bedded over here on a southwest wind. He's going to be bedded over here again on the southwest wind. And he might have been, there's a lot of bedding over there. He might have been just further south, and he never came back up north there where I was at. But that's one of the things that these bucks will do is they'll switch bedding areas based on the wind. They might have a couple areas that they will bed down in just depending on the conditions. So keep that in mind. These things, they get big and they get old by being smart, and these are them. They're smart. They know what they're doing. So they beat me, and hopefully I'll learn something and I can catch up to them. I'm gonna get back out there after it this week. It's gonna be nice and cool, like I said. I've got some deer showing up at my place on camera, so I might be able to get out there and get after one of those guys, just depending on what the wind is doing. Hopefully you guys stick around. I might have a update for you later this week. Maybe I'll stick one of these things and I can bring you guys a video and show it to you. But appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.